What's up everyone and welcome to the club. Today we're drawing Mufasa from The Lion King. Welcome everyone and thanks for joining me today. For this lesson we'll need a sketch pad and a pencil. I'll begin today's lesson with this 0.7mm mechanical pencil with a 2B graphite stick, but you're welcome to use whatever you'd like. Now the first thing we want to do is break down the basic shape and composition before we get into the details. So let's start by sketching a line coming down the center of our page. We'll start at the very top in the middle. Just going to lightly work my way down towards the bottom using these short lines. Let's go back to the center and draw another line going across from left to right. Now we're going to be using these two lines to help us create a large circle in the center of our page to define the size of the head. So from that center point, let's just move up to the top. Just going to mark off the circle. And we'll measure this distance from the center down towards the bottom. So right here, mark that off. And then we're going to repeat that across this horizontal line. So measuring the distance from the center towards the left and right side. And I want to connect the center point of each mark with a curve to create our circle. So we'll start with the top left and just work our way around. And the circle doesn't have to be perfect. We're just using this as a guide. And we'll probably come back and erase out most of this after. Let's add another line coming down the side of our circle from the left and then the right. Now with our circle and guidelines in place, let's start blocking out the facial features. Now we want to find the halfway point between that center line and the left side of our circle. Right here, mark this off and go up and then down. We'll do the same thing on the right side. Now in the center, we're going to draw a smaller circle, starting from the top, going all the way around. And this is the edge of the muzzle and nose. Let's go out to the side. We're just going to angle the nose, coming down and then in toward the center. Let's step down. Just going to angle the mouth, coming down and out towards the bottom of these lines. Now we're going to move up. Let's go to the top of our circle, draw a straight line going across from left to right. Let's place the eye along this outside, going around with a small circle on both sides, and a small black dot in the center for the pupils. Now from the side of the nose, we're going to curve the muzzle. We're going to go out, come down, and then in towards the corners of the mouth. Let's go all the way up toward the top of this line. We're going to curve the ear, going up, come around, and then in towards that eye line. And do the same thing on the right. Let's add some shape to the hair. Starting from here, curve this up towards the middle, come down, and then out to create a point. From the side of the head, we're going to add a volume for the mane. Just going to curve this out, come around, then in towards the middle. Do the same thing on the right side. Now that we have a rough sketch in place, we're going to go back and clean this up by erasing some of these guidelines. Now once we finish cleaning up our drawing, I'm going to use this rough sketch as a guide to help us layer on some more details and refine the shapes. Now I want to start with the eyes. Starting from the very top, I'm just going to add a guideline coming in and then down on either side. Let's bend this out towards the side of the muzzle. Let's add a point along the outside, coming down and out. Curve this down and in towards the bottom of the eye, and then bend that down on the inside. I'm going to roughly shade in the inside of those points. Now going in and adding some shape to the nose, we're just going to dip this down in the middle, round up the sides. Let's add a curve for the nostrils, going up and then down. And lightly shade in the nostrils. We'll add that seam in the center, and then curve this up towards the side. Let's add that fold. Add some fur going across the chin. Let's add a couple lines for the whiskers coming up and then in on either side. And this will just be a guide. We'll come back and add the details after. Let's build up the outside of the eye, just adding a dark trim around the top and bottom. I'm going to go up to the top of the brow, going up and then bending that down. And we're just going to add a little bit more shape to the top of the head. Coming down on the side. I'm just going to add some lines going across for the fur, across the head. Just going to bend this around the top. Just adding some more wrinkles and folds going around the head. Now along the outside of the mane, we're just going to soften this up with a little bit of fur texture. We're just bending this up and down, just moving our pencil across that line. And then for the side of the body, just going to round this out around the shoulders. And we're just going to add a little bit more texture across the body. And now we're going to do one final cleanup before we add some more details and shading. And now I'm going to switch to my 0.9mm pencil and start adding some contrast. So we're going to start with the nose. Just working our way around. And we'll just darken up the inside of the nostrils. Let's add that dark trim across the bottom, going around the nose, and there's a fold along the side. Bring this in towards the middle, and then add a point. Work this down towards the mouth. From here, just going to brush the fur coming down across the middle, now towards the chin. Just darken that up and fade that down. Now across the edge of the chin, I'm just going to add that fur, just pulling these lines going up and then in, sort of aiming towards this curve. And we're just going to enhance that fur coming down from the top. Work our way around the side of the muzzle and then fade that up. Now we're going to add the spots going along these lines that we created. Then along the side, we're just going to add some wrinkles. And then now working our way up towards the eyes. Now with the pupils, we're just going to soften up the outside edge, just blending that out. And we'll darken up the top of the iris, and then fade that down to create a glare. Now just detailing the fur across the top, and these thick lines coming down. And from the bottom, I'm just going to work with that same curve going up. Now from underneath the chin, I'm just going to add some texture of that fur coming down across the body and the mane. I'm just going to darken up that fur just underneath the head, coming down and out across the mane. Just working our way out toward the side. Now I'm going to switch to my 2mm pencil and start adding some soft shadows across our character. So I'll imagine that the lights come from the top coming down, so the shadows sit along the bottom edge of each of these shapes. So let's start by darkening up the inside of the ears, starting from the base, and we just want to fade that up. And this is where the light's going to catch the tip of the ears. We also want to enhance the fur, a little bit more darker texture inside. And we're just leaning the shadows over towards the right slightly. And as we get closer to the end, I'm just going to tighten up our shadows and details, and always be sure to sign our artwork, and that's pretty much it. There's a sketch illustration of Mufasa from The Lion King. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. If you do, please be sure to subscribe for more videos each week where I'll show you how to draw different characters just like this. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.